GoFest 2023 is going to be an amazing time. I'm very excited about these events because they have always and will always be some of my favorite events in Pokemon Go because of the community, the connection, and everything that does go into these events to make them awesome experiences for trainers all around the world. I'm very excited about this, so I hope you guys are too, and we're going to break down everything that I think is coming for GoFest 2023 in Pokemon Go. So welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go! Let's start off right off the bat with the GoFest graphic. The GoFest graphic does have two diamonds on the logo, and previously, they always, as Pokemon Go, put in little hidden Easter eggs in all of their graphics. However, we don't really have too much to work on right now, so let's start off with the mythical that is coming, which is going to be Diancie. You can almost guarantee that this is going to be Diancie based on the graphic right here, which is a very exciting time because Diancie is going to be a rock and a fairy type Pokemon. Pretty cool combination, but even further, which I don't think that's going to be part, and I almost can guarantee it's not going to be part of this GoFest, but at some future part, Diancie does have a Mega, which we are about to check out its stats and see where it does sit as a rock and a fairy type attacker in the game overall. But first off, Diancie as a regular mythical is going to max out at 3,091, so that is definitely a lower tiered mythical CP value overall, right? So that is something that we got to maybe take into account. So let's see where Diancie sits in the TDO DPS analysis, where we have named it ER. So Diancie, Rock Throw and Rock Slide is his strongest overall move at 28.07. And then with Rock Throw and Moonblast, it's 26.8. So right off the bat, if we're going to look at it in the fairy category, it's actually going to be in the 49th place overall with Rock Throw and Moonblast at 26.8. And then if we're going to look at it in the rock category, it's going to be on the 4th page overall in the 37th place with Rock Throw and Rock Slide at 28.07. So looking at this Pokemon as a regular mythical, it's not anything crazy. And it does have a double weakness to Steel, which does make it problematic for GBL. So looking at this Pokemon just as his face value is like, meh, it's not really that cool. But wait, it does have a Mega, which makes it very cool because the Mega is going to max out at 4,913 with an attack value of 342, which is extremely high. And it does get some pretty premier rock type moves. So let's see where this one does sit in the fairy and the rock category. So in the fairy category overall, it's actually going to be ranked 4th behind Mega Alakazam, Zacian, Crown Sword, which is not out yet, and Mega Gardevoir. So overall, the Gardevoir is still the strongest Pokemon in the game, but it's still pretty cool that, you know, this Pokemon does get Moonblast. It is not going to be a dual fairy type move, but stay with me here because I have a really cool thing for you guys, because if we move into the rock category, it's the #1 Pokemon overall with Rock Throw and Rock Slide at 46.27 above Mega Tyranitar and Mega Aerodactyl. So wow, this Pokemon is extremely strong, and based on its moveset combination, we can go Rock Throw, Rock Slide, and then we can just unlock a second charge move and put Moonblast on it, and we cover all of its moveset basis because it doesn't have a fairy fast move as of right now. However, I do believe that if it does get a little bit better of a fairy move in the future and it does get a fairy fast move, this Pokemon would probably be the #1 Pokemon overall in Pokemon Go for fairy typings with its Mega form, which is very impressive. So that's going to be the mythical Pokemon. And although right off the bat, maybe not the best mythical Pokemon, but in the future, we do have something that's going to be really cool, which I'm very excited about for that Mega. So now let's move on to the next portion of this event. So typically in the past, what we have seen is regional Pokemon that do make their debut as their shiny forms. So last year we have had 3 events, which was going to be Berlin, Seattle, Sapporo, and then we did have all 3 of the monkeys. In Berlin we had Pansear, in Seattle we had Panpour, and then in Sapporo we had Pansage. And each along the stops we did have the shinies be released. So when we're looking at this year's, every single year it seems like they're releasing a new shiny regional, and there's going to be 2 events this year. One is going to be in Japan/London, same weekend, which I do believe that the event should relatively mirror each other, and then we're going to have another event in New York, which gives us the opportunity to think, okay, well, what is going to be this year's? For me, I do believe that this is going to be Shellos because it's the East and the West Sea. So for the New York, we are going to be getting the East Sea, and for London/Osaka, you'll be getting the West Sea as far as this Shellos goes, which I think is probably going to be pretty on par with what's going on here, and to be released and to be able to get it and then to be able to go forward. And then probably for the global Go Fest, we will have these Pokemon spawning, but a little bit rarer of spawns. So I'm really excited to see how this does play out and if I'm right about this, because it makes sense. 2 regionals, non-shinies. There's 2 events this year instead of 3, so it works out absolutely perfect for these Shellos to line up, which then does lead us to another Pokemon that has previously been very, very common. So for GoFest Global 2020, we had Gibble, not really the release, but it was right around the date. For the 2021, we did have the Dino, which then had the Com Day last year. Then this year, for 2022, we did have the Axew, which I am anticipating, if you guys do want to see the Com Day stuff, where I think that the next June Com Day is going to be the Axew, if it lines up. And then that leads us into which Pokemon could be released this year. And if it maintains this consistency, it would be Shiny Goomy as one of the more desirable shinies that could be coming out with this date. So let me know in the comments below if I am off par with some of these thoughts that you guys have, or what you guys think in the comments below. And as far as the bonuses, what can we expect? Number one, up to 6 special trades per day, which is very cool. However, I don't know what's going to happen with the extra add-on days. Do you get additional 6 special trades for each of those days, or does it only happen on the day that you play in the park and on the city, and it does not happen on the additional days? We will have to find that out in the future. And then for the city experience, obviously we did have the passes, and that stuff has been released. If you want to see the complete details of what has been released as far as GoFest, you can check that video out up here. But now let's look at some of the spawns from, let's say, Berlin GoFest and see what we can anticipate coming for the future. Because just remember, the amazing thing about the in-person GoFest is that we do have the different habitats, and the habitats are some of the best things in Pokemon Go, because if you want that specific shiny, all you have to do is sit in that area, walk around that area, and you will get those spawns. And then if you want to change, you can go into the next area, and that's what really makes the in-person GoFest very, very special, along with so many other things. The atmosphere, the amount of trainers, everything that's going to be out there makes it absolutely fantastic. But that's one of my favorite things, because if I, for instance, wanted to get a shiny Slurpuff and I didn't have that, and there was a habitat that did have the Slurpuff spawning, I could just walk around that habitat until hopefully I do get that shiny. But if we do check this out, look, we have the Cloud. Look at all these spawns that you have as potential shinies. Almost every single spawn, well, actually every spawn in here did have a shiny potential in the Cloud. This is going to be for Berlin GoFest. Then we did have the Oasis, so many Pokemon here, right? Then we did have the Dreamy Mindscape, so many Pokemon here, except the Solosis being shiny, Gothita being shiny, everything else was shiny. And then we did have the Cowboy Hat Snorlax, which we may check out here in a second to think about, what could that be? And I really want your guys' feedback to see what you guys think may be a cool costume Pokemon that they may be releasing. And then we also went onto the Electric Garden, and look at all these different types of Pokemon here, right? And then appearing in the wild, you can pretty much guarantee there's probably going to be some type of Pikachu variation. Could even be a Pikachu with a Diamond Diancie somehow, because this one did have the Shaman flowers on it. And then we obviously have some unknowns with shiny forms, so there are going to be some unknowns being released with some shiny forms as well, which is also very exciting for us. And typically, if these events go as they have been, on the top of the hour in your park experience, you will be experiencing global unknown spawns, and potentially even in the city for 2 minutes, which means you're going to have a very high chance of getting shiny unknown. And if you guys want to see how to modify, how to make sure you can get a shiny unknown by finding an event shiny spawn and waiting until the top of the hour if you're very close, you can check that video up here, because it's a very valuable strategy to be able to maintain. And then if we did look back, we do have the 1-star raids, which is going to be here. We had the 3-star raids, and then we had the 5-star raids, which is going to be Cresselia and Darkrai. So for this year, we need to talk about megas, we need to talk about some other things. So for the megas, we do have a couple megas that I think could be coming into the game. So there could be Mega Mewtwo. That's definitely a mega that could be a part of the GoFest. I don't know though, because I think Mega Mewtwo could maintain its own event. Mega Rayquaza could be one as well, but I also think that Mega Rayquaza could head like something like a Dragon Week and have an entire event or an entire season manufactured around that Pokemon. So I think that it could have its own entity, so I could be off balance here. A Mega Pokemon that could be released could be Mega Metagross or Mega Tyranitar, because I think those Pokemon are very powerful, they're really good, and they really do add into some very valuable parts of Pokemon Go. And there's a couple other Pokemon I think that could make great debuts into this GoFest. Okay, so one of those Pokemon I think could be Zygarde. That the Pokemon has not been around, but at the same time it's a brand new Pokemon, so I'm not really sure exactly what their trajectory is here. But we have had Cosmog, Cosmoem, Solgaleo, as well as Lunala, and we have not had an opportunity to be able to get any of these Pokemon again. So I think that this would be a great opportunity to be able to either give us in raids, 1-star raids, to be able to raid for it and to be able to get this Pokemon, or maybe even be able to raid for the Solgaleo and the Lunala in Pokemon Go. I truly think that these Pokemon could be coming out as raid bosses during this time, because we look at last year's, we're looking at Cresselia and Darkrai, and we haven't had an opportunity for these Pokemon. And while yes, they could have their own trajectory, I think that it could also be really cool to add these into the game. And just remember guys, these are all speculations, these are my thoughts, my opinions, and my analysis based on past events. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So appreciate you guys for being here as always. Likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes their support, subscription, and participation to next level. I'll miss you guys out in the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and rating all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.